What's up, FloTrack? This is Johnny Pace here in Boston, Massachusetts with Kevin Fitzpatrick, the Vice President of Running at New Balance. Kevin, pleasure to meet you.
Great to meet you as well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having us. We're coming off a huge weekend here in Boston at the track at New Balance. Give me the recap, tell me your takeaways and what the meet represents.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, New Balance Grand Prix is really the opening of the track season for us. And so we had a tremendous weekend with New Balance athletes. It's just awesome to see this facility packed with so much energy, the best athletes in the world. Heather McLean, Quincy Wilson. We saw some really great performances out of our athletes, and we're really excited for what the indoor season holds for us.
So this is like your key mark, your big event of the year at this track. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's right. The two big events for us here are New Balance Indoor Grand Prix, and then of course New Balance Nationals for the most elite high school talent across the country. And so that's coming up middle of March, and we're really excited for that event as well.
Well, folks can't see the outside, but this is part of a new, beautiful complex. It's only a couple of years old. Can you talk about this investment, what this space represents to the brand, and what it's allowing you guys to do?
Sure. Our ownership group had an amazing vision for what this campus could look like. Where this track is right now used to be a lot of empty warehouses, and it was a pretty desolate part of the city. And the vision was really building the center of health and wellness in New England. And so I think the indoor track is a really great manifestation of that. But you're just seeing this whole area has come to life because of it. We've got our global headquarters across the street. We have the Boston Celtics practicing right down the road, the Boston Bruins practice facility right across the street. And so it's really just become this hub of athletes. You're starting to see more sports science get introduced to this space. Mass General just opened a facility right below us where they're doing sports medicine and physical therapy. So it's a really exciting time for this area of Boston, and it's really rejuvenated this area of the city, which is super exciting.
That is very cool. Tell us a little bit more about some of the other parts of the building. Research going on. How is that related to what New Balance is doing in the business, and what is it teaching you about your footwear?
Yeah, below the track we have our new state-of-the-art sports research facility. This has all the capabilities of some of the most elite research facilities around the world. It allows us the ability to bring an athlete into the lab, really understand their biomechanics, really understand how we can tailor products specifically to them and optimize their performance. And then it's great because we can bring it right up to the track and test exactly how it's going. My favorite part of the lab downstairs is the Proto Lab, where we've got some of our biomechanists, some of our designers, some of our product managers working with their hands and really, shaving millimeters of foam off of a shoe and then bringing it up to see how it reacts. And so, we always like to say New Balance is a brand that prides itself on craftsmanship, and that's very relevant in our lifestyle business, but it's also as relevant in technical innovation, where we literally have people just working on millimeters of foam. Every little stitch counts, every little gram counts, and just making sure that we optimize for the athlete.
And I think we're just seeing New Balance. It's a very exciting time in running, I think, in general, the last several years, and you have some incredible athletes. Can you speak a little bit about some of the athletes that are out representing New Balance?
Sure. Yeah, we're coming off of Paris, and it was the most successful games we've had. We like to say that we're the most boutique brand in the industry, and we treat our partnerships that way. We go for less partnerships, higher quality partnerships, and longer term partnerships, and that's really important to us because when we enter a partnership, whether that's with an athlete or another entity, we want to be able to commit 100% of our time with them and really get to know them well and make sure that our partnership is mutually beneficial. And so, when we look at Paris, Gabby Thomas, Sydney McLaughlin, Vernon Norwood. I mean, we had some incredible performances on the track, but equally important, we've got athletes that are just doing amazing things out there in the world as well.
It seems that they're not only some of the best athletes in the world, but they are when they're not on the track, they are representing so well and engaging with the community and just being tremendous ambassadors. That's very clear.
And ultimately that's all we can ask for. That's something that's near and dear to kind of New Balance's values, is we want to make sure that when we have a partnership that these athletes out there in the world are just doing great things. And when we go for fewer, it allows us to make sure that we support them in the community as well.
Absolutely. And it's kind of running, I think it's clear that you're focusing not only on the top end, but the whole spectrum all the way down to the elite at high school level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, NIL, high school, it's become a major part of our strategy. Our goal is always, let's identify the rising emerging talent, let's form a partnership, and let's just make sure we're there to support them. And the hope is that when they go pro that, they've got that strong affinity for the brand and want to stay with us long term.
Yeah. Can you talk about how you incorporate the athlete feedback into the direction of the company?
Yeah, athletes are so critical to innovation. They are the number one thing that drives our innovation efforts.
Yeah.
Alex Yee, triathlete from England, has been instrumental in the development of our SC Elite road racing flat. We've had him in the lab multiple times, always optimizing for his performance and really helping us understand when we remove weight or when we add more energy return or when we add a stiffer carbon fiber plate, what that's doing. Yeah. And that has really driven a lot of our innovation. Emily Sisson's another one we spend a lot of time in the lab with, Emma Coburn, Sydney, Gabby. These athletes are in this building, in this facility often, and that has proven to pay huge dividends for us in our innovation efforts.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to? Looking forward. You've done so much in the last, several years, and where do you see things going? What are you excited about? Yeah,
I mean, it's a really, really exciting time for running. Running is having a major moment. We're seeing a lot of new consumers take up running, and we're actually seeing it at a younger age than ever before. So you've got a lot of these early 20-something, getting into their career, living in the city, and are taking up running. Yeah. And it's really exciting because we are always focused on athlete performance and making sure that we're innovating for the most elite athletes. Yeah. But equally, those people that are coming into running for the first time or maybe aren't as committed, we've got some really exciting innovation that we're driving for 2026 that I think is going to introduce a little bit more of a distinct point of view into the running marketplace. So we're really excited for what that holds. And then certainly for this year, World Indoors is coming up. And then we're getting ready for outdoors in Tokyo. So it's a really exciting year in 2025 for running.
You would think that maybe after an Olympic year it might let up a bit, but I would say the opposite.
Not so much.
Not so much.
Yeah, and I think with that comes a much quicker innovation cycle as well. Right. Because not only are we looking at in outdoors in Tokyo, we also have to shift our focus to LA 2028 and make sure that we're really driving that innovation for athletes and getting them ready for the next games. Right. I was asked in Paris, what are you guys focused on now? And I said, well, our time for Paris is done. We're already working on LA. And so, it's this perpetual cycle, but it keeps it exciting.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on, how you are looking to grow the sport of running and keep that momentum?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time in the community and really engaging with consumers. And the goal of that is just to make sure that every runner, no matter what your ability is, feels like they are seen, they are heard, and they are supported. We know that if we can get more people into this amazing global community of running, that they typically stay around. And it's not just great for our business, it's great for their health. And it's great for so many other businesses that thrive off of the running community. And so, it's in our best interest to just keep welcoming more and more people, younger and younger ages, but also make sure that we're building products that really give them an amazing experience so they want to stick with it for the long run.
Right. Well, as someone who's been in New York, I've seen kind of those impacts with endorphins and some of the local run clubs. Sure. I know there's many others, right, in the city, and getting in at that grassroots level is really neat. Yeah,
I mean, the explosive growth in run crews has been wild. And it's good. I hope many of them are in it for the long run and not just trying to capitalize off of a quick moment. Right. But we've got partnership with endorphins, Run the Boroughs over in Europe. And so there's a lot of, like I said, we go for less partnerships, but longer term and more important, higher quality. And the goal of that is, we want to build something with endorphins long term. We want to build something with Run the Boroughs long term. We don't want it to just be a quick partnership.
That's pretty unique. And I mean, how can we'd be remiss to not mention the marathon?
Yeah.
Can you talk about that and how that fits in and is so important to you guys?
Are you saying New York, London,
New York,
all of them? Yeah, I mean, New York Marathon, our partnership with New York Roadrunners is now entering our, I believe, 8th year. And that has just been an incredible partnership for us. When we originally signed our partnership with New York Roadrunners, the whole idea was, how do we make the experience better for the runner? Our partnership with New York Roadrunners was all about how we can increase the experience or improve the experience with the runner. And starting with the Brooklyn Half Marathon, we introduced this idea of the block party for bib pickup. So we were having food trucks and music, and we really wanted to create more of a vibe rather than, we know that running is about so much more than just the race itself. And so we've really made some great progress working closely with New York Road Runners, and that's been an amazing partnership for us.
New Balance Indoors, it's the crown jewel of high school running to get that backpack, and I maybe speak a bit to that. And the New Balance National is still going strong, like you said, it's going to be here next month, and just elaborate a little bit more.
Yeah,
that
New Balance Nationals is one of the most exciting events that takes place in this facility all year. This facility is booked 24/7. We have basketball camps, we've got soccer camps. There's always a lot of young kids moving through this facility. Nothing is as electrifying as New Balance Nationals, where we're welcoming thousands of the fastest runners across the country here. And the energy and the vibe is incredible. It absolutely centers around that backpack. It is the most engaged social post we will make year after year after year. And I think the kids are always just waiting to understand or see what is that unveil of the backpack. It's become pretty iconic in the track and field world. We're always looking to disrupt the status quo and thinking, all right, what's next after the backpack? So we're always ideating around that. But again, there is nothing as exciting as New Balance Nationals weekend here on this campus in this facility. And the kids have an amazing time, and it's just awesome to see that track and field community come together the way they do.
This is more of a personal interest that I've wondered for as long as I've known about the backpack. Like, when the expectation is that high, how do you continue to come back year after year?
It's not easy. I'll tell you, there's a lot of opinions internally on what that backpack should look like. We typically try to leave it to the experts in design and make sure that, New Balance has grown tremendously over the years, and we have so many young, fresh, new designers and talent in the building. And they're just super in tune with youth culture and making sure that every time we introduce that next iteration, that it's something that is going to shock the consumer and get them pretty excited for the event.
Kudos to that team for just every year coming out with another hit.
For sure.
Well, very cool. We covered a lot of ground. Is there anything we didn't touch on that you're excited about?
Yeah, again, as we look towards 25, I think it's going to be a super exciting time for the sport, some big events. And then moving into 2026, we're really excited. Like I said, there's so many new consumers coming into running, and just making sure that we're welcoming them with wide open arms and giving them just amazing experiences, whether that's apparel, footwear, or how we interact with them in the community. And so, you're only going to see us continue to ramp up our efforts in the running category, and from an innovation standpoint, really start to lead. We've got some really exciting projects in the works as we look towards 26 and 27. So it's going to be a fun run.
Love it. Well, we can't wait to follow along, and just appreciate you making the time to chat with us.
Likewise.
Thank you so
Great to
much.
meet you.